Hello and welcome to the Prog Analyst. Today we are going to be talking about the Marillion song, Kayleigh. Before I begin, if you have any suggestions of prog rock songs you want to see an analysis video of, please leave those in the comments. Also, thank you for the constructive feedback I've gotten on my videos. I will continue working to create the best content I am capable of producing. The first four measures of the song start out with an intro riff. The bass and keyboard are sustaining the note B, while the guitar switches between B minor and A, which creates a suspended sound against the B in the bass. From this intro, we can tell that our song is in B minor. Then we go into the verse riff, which is just instrumental for the first 8 bars. The chords are all diatonic to B minor, being B minor, A, F sharp minor, and G. The guitar riff here mostly outlines these chords with arpeggios. Rhythmically, the chords mostly follow this pattern, but every 4 bars the chords are moved forward an 8th note to anticipate the downbeats with syncopation. The verse melody has a lot of slight rhythmic variations from line to line, changing to fit the lyric rhythms. One thing that is fairly consistent in the first part of the verse, though, is this "do you remember" lyric and rhythm, which is repeated in every other bar. This phrase usually starts on beat 2, the exception actually being the first time we hear the phrase, which is on beat 4 of the previous measure. Moving this phrase 2 beats ahead when we first hear it serves as a transition, leading us into the vocal part of the verse, and without it we wouldn't get an immediate sectional contrast on the downbeat of 1 between the instrumental verse and when the vocals begin. After 8 bars, the verse melody changes, although the instrumental accompaniment remains the same. Something that both verse melodies have in common is that every other phrase moves up or down opposite the one that preceded it. For example, in the first section of the verse, the lyric "chalk hearts melting on the playground wall" ultimately moves upward, reaching the note E, and the lyric 2 measures later, "Donna's gaze from moonwashed college halls" stretches downwards, to the note F sharp. These phrases balance each other out and give us as listeners a satisfying feeling of a sort of call and response within the vocal melody itself. We see this again in the second part of the verse. "Didn't I break your heart?" goes down to F sharp, and 2 measures later, "I never meant to break your heart" goes up to E. It'd be a little hard to see this balance when it's written out due to the rhythmic complexity of the melody, but it's a lot easier to discern from listening to the verses. After 3 2-measure phrases in the second half of the verse, we get a little extended pause before the line, "but you broke mine," which is significantly shorter than our previous phrases and acts sort of like a period at the end of the sentence, concluding the verse and indicating that something different is about to happen. The chorus is much brighter than the verse in comparison, this largely being due to the key change to D major, the relative major of B minor. The chords here move in a similar rhythm to that of the verse, but the harmony itself is different. We have a few chords diatonic to D major, those being D, G, and A, and in the third measure we get our first non-diatonic chord, C major. C major in the key of D is the flat 7 modal interchange chord, which is probably the most common modal interchange chord, and it quickly moves back to diatonic harmony. I have 2 significant notes about the melody, the first being that the name Kayleigh, the title of the song, always appears on the downbeat of 1. This both helps the chorus melody to start off strongly with its rhythmic placement, and emphasizes the importance of the name and title. Second, the range of the chorus melody is higher than that of the verse, starting on F sharp, which is higher than the peak of our verse, and eventually going up as high as A. This establishes sectional contrast in the melody, and the higher range of the melody increases the excitement of this section compared to the verse. After the chorus, we don't really get a second verse, we get a guitar solo, but the guitar solo is over the verse chords in B minor. I personally appreciate how melodic this guitar solo is, repeating rhythmic ideas, leaving rhythmic space, and moving slow enough for the listener to digest. After 20 bars of solo over the verse chords, we get 1 cycle of the chorus chords to end our guitar solo on a comparatively brighter note in the relative major. This brightness doesn't last long, as we return to our intro riff for the first time. However, we've now transposed to C sharp minor, which I find to be a particularly clever key change. Going from the D major at the end of the guitar solo to C sharp minor feels like the harmony is getting darker for 2 reasons. First, that the root is moving down by a half step, and second, that it's going from a major key to a minor key. However, compared to the B minor that our verses are usually in, and that we first hear this riff in, C sharp minor is a whole step higher and is comparatively a lighter key. It's really interesting how this section being in C sharp minor is like an in-between key in terms of tone, darker than our usual chorus, but brighter than our usual verse. We do get a full verse in C sharp minor, but other than the key and lyrics being different, it's structurally and melodically the same as our verse. Our verse ends on the chord A, our diatonic 6th major chord in C sharp minor, which is the same way that our verse progression always ends. However, A major is the 5 chord relative to D major, the key that our chorus is usually in. This chord serves as a pivot chord, functioning both as the 6th major chord in C sharp minor and as a 5 chord in the following D major, which helps us modulate back to our original key for the final chorus. That's my breakdown of Kayleigh by Marillion. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new or enjoyed the video, please like it and share it with anyone else who might be interested. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else about the song you enjoy or find interesting I might not have mentioned. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe as well. Thanks again!